ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ጥራት ባለው ስልጠና ልዩነት መፍጠር ዋናው ዓላማው ነው። ከከፍተኛ ትምህርት አግባብነትና ጥራት ኤጀንሲ ሙሉ ዕውቅና ባገኘንባቸው በማስተርስ ፕሮግራም ኤምቢኤ በስትራቴጂክ ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምቢኤ በቢዝነስ ሊደርሺፕ፣ ኤምቢኤ በሪስክና ኢንሹራንስ፣ ኤምቢኤ በባንኪንግና ፋይናንስ፣ ኤምኤስሲ በኢንተርናሽናል ትሬድና ኢኮኖሚክስ፣ ኤምኤ በሆስፒታሊቲ ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምኤ በሎጂስቲክስና ሰፕላይ ቼን ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምኤስሲ በአቪዬሽን ማኔጅመንት ተማሪዎቻችን በልዩነት ይማራሉ። በኬንያ ሀገር ከሚገኙ ስመጥር ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች በመጡ ፕሮፌሰሮች ስልጠናው ይሰጣል። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ በዲግሪ ፕሮግራም በአቪዬሽን ማኔጅመንት፣ በአካውንቲንግና ፋይናንስ፣ በማርኬቲንግ ማኔጅመንት፣ በሆቴል ማኔጅመንት በምዝገባ ላይ ነን። በአጫጭር ኮርሶችም በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን፣ በቲኬቲንግና ሪዘርቬሽን፣ በሆስቴስ፣ በሆስፒታሊቲ ማኔጅመንት እናሰለጥናለን። አድራሻ ከ22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
So we can start our today's class and some arrangement. Last time we have seen about this chapter 5, multi-engine aircraft. Multi-engine aircraft weight and balance item last chapter. And today we will see light sports aircraft weight and balance. So there are aircrafts, different type of aircraft operational around the aviation environment. One of those are the light sports type of aircraft, and they have also their own specific type of procedure for the weight and balance. So in this chapter we discuss the weight and balance procedures of light sport aircraft that differ from conventional aircraft, especially weight shift controlled aircraft, also called Trikes, powered parachutes, and amateur built light sport aircraft. So conventional aircraft, እነዚህ type of aircraft የራሳቸው የሆነ ለየት የሚያደርጋቸው by design and by nature ለየት ይላሉ ማለት ነው። እነዚህ አይነት aircraft specifically weight shift control aircraft, they are also called Trikes, powered parachutes for example also, and amateur build በአማተር በሆኑ ሰዎች ወይም ደግሞ ፕሮፌሽናል ባልሆኑ የሚሰሩ ሆም ቢልድ ኤርክራፍቶችም ሊኖሩ ይችላሉ። ስለዚህ እነዚህ ኤርክራፍቶች they have their own weight and balance procedures. For examples of light sport aircraft, as you can see, weight shift control የምንለው ይሄኛው ነው። This type of aircraft we call it weight shift control. Powered parachute, powered no, but still it's a parachute. Glider airplanes, this one. Hot air balloons, this one. And amateur built light sport aircraft. እነዚህ ኤርክራፍቶች ናቸው ማለት light sport aircraft የምንላቸው። So light sport aircraft is a category of simple, very basic, small, lightweight, low performance aircraft other than helicopter or a powered lift, and a classification of aircraft specific to the United States. So these aircraft are classified as light sport aircraft. The Federal Aviation Administration defines light sport aircraft as an aircraft with maximum gross takeoff weight of not more than 1,300 pounds, 1,320 pounds, whose gross weight is this much, or 600 kilograms for aircraft not intended for operation over water, or 1,430 for aircraft intended to operate in water also, or on the sea. So a maximum, and their maximum speed 120 knots or 220 kilometers per hour, 140 miles per hour, a maximum stall speed of this amount and a maximum seating capacity not more than 2 persons. ከሁለት ሰው በላይ መያዝ የማይችሉ including the pilot of course. Fixed undercarriage, the landing gear or the undercarriage is fixed type, and the pitch is also fixed because there are two type of propellers which are variable and fixed pitch type of propellers. But for an aircraft to be categorized under light sport aircraft, one is the undercarriage should be fixed, and the pitch also should be fixed, or ground adjustable propeller, or otherwise ground adjustable. It should be adjusted on the ground. So, and a single reciprocating engine powered. If it is powered, most of the time they are not powered, but if it is powered, it should be a single reciprocating engine if it's powered. So an aircraft that qualifies as light sport aircraft may be operated by the holder of a sport pilot certificate, whether registered as light sport aircraft or not. Of course, to operate this aircraft also you need to hold a certificate of operation. Pilots will, with a private, recreational or higher pilot certificate, may also fly these light sport aircrafts even if their medical certificate have expired, as long as they have a valid driver license to prove that they are in a good enough health to fly. So light sports also have less restrictive maintenance requirements and may be maintained and inspected by traditional certified aircraft technicians. So these are about light sport aircraft. What is light sport aircraft? But our main concern on this course is the weight and balance of an aircraft, and now about weight and balance of this light sport aircraft. Light sport aircraft ምንለው ምን አይነት እንደሆነ I hope you have got some idea about this light sport aircraft in the previous slides. So what is the procedure to perform the weight and balance of this type of aircraft? Light sport aircraft or aircraft such as these balloons, powered parachutes, and WS. What was this WS here? Weight shift control. Weight shift control type of aircraft do not require weight and balance competition because the load is suspended below the lifting mechanism. So we can see here that there is no requirement for weight and balance competition for this type of aircraft. In general, for the light sport aircrafts, this includes the balloons, powered parachutes, and weight shift control aircraft. So the CG range in this type of aircraft is such that it is difficult to exceed CG limit. For example, the rear seat position and fuel of the weight shift control aircraft are as close as possible to the hang point with the aircraft in the suspended attitude. Thus, load variations have little effect on the CG. So due to this reason, the rear seat position on the fuel and the fuel of this type of aircraft are as close as possible to the hang point with the aircraft in which the aircraft is suspended. Thus, there is no probability that the center of gravity will not be shifted and it will not be affected as much. Therefore, that's why there is no need of making calculation of weight and balance. So for example, if some lever is very short, it's not difficult to make it balanced. Therefore, this also the gap between the CG and the suspension point is very limited. Therefore, the CG variation, the probable variation of the CG will be very low and will not be considered into account. This also holds true for lighter than aircraft, such as the balloons, basket, or gondola. የተለያዩ ታይፕ ኦፍ ላይት ስፖርት ወይም ደግሞ ሪክሬሽናል ታይፕ ኦፍ ኤርክራፍት ላይ ያልነው ነገር አፕላይ ያደርጋል ማለት ነው። weight affects performance, therefore pilots should calculate weight and remain within the manufacturer's established limits at all times. In fact, it is the weight which we are considering when we talk the weight and about weight and balance. So, and it's the weight when it changes, when this weight changes, the overall performance of the aircraft will be also changed. Therefore, in this case, in this light aircraft, light sport aircraft, there is no significant change in weight during operation. Therefore, there is no need for the pilots and for the operators to calculate the weight and balance of this type of aircraft. So pilots should calculate the weight and remain within the manufacturer established limits because the weight will affect our overall performance of aircraft, but in this case, not. Weight shift control aircraft. Weight shift control aircraft are 1 and 2 place aircraft that exceed the criteria of an ultralight vehicle, but they do meet the criteria of a light sport aircraft. So the definition of weight control can be found in 14 CFR Part 1. These are documents released by the FAA, and you can get the definition of this weight shift control aircraft in this 14 CFR Part 1 of the document released by FAA. So a weight shift control aircraft used for sport and private pilot flying must be registered by FAA, of course. Any flying object which flies in the territory of the United States, for our case, and also, of course, in our case, also in Ethiopia, any flying object should be registered by the Ethiopian Civil Aviation Authority, ECAA. So this is for our case, for Ethiopia case, Ethiopian Civil Aviation, and for the United States case, this is the FAA. So have an airworthiness certificate. So an airworthiness certificate should be issued to that flying object or to this weight shift control aircraft. So a pilot's operating handbook also should be issued, and or limitations with a weight and loading documents aboard. So as mentioned earlier, this type of aircraft are commonly called trikes. These aircraft have few options for loading because they lack places to put useful load items. One place trikes have only one seat and a fuel tank, which means the only variables for a flight are amount of fuel and weight of the pilot. To place trikes can accommodate a pilot and a passenger. This version may have a small storage bin in addition to the fuel tank. Therefore, due to this limited amount of weight in this aircraft, or in this weight shift aircraft, there is no such important concern about weight and balance. So you can read these things. It's about the weight and balance. The most significant factor affecting the weight and balance of trikes or the WSC is the weight of the pilot, and if the aircraft has two seats, the weight of the passenger also. Maybe there may be two passengers, one pilot and one additional. So maximum, this type of aircraft will have only two passengers, including the pilot. The trikes act somewhat like a single main rotor helicopter because the weight of the aircraft hangs like a pendulum under the wing. So it will be, for example, if the rotor, so this is acting like a pendulum. So as you can see in figure 2, this is, for example, this one is the seat of a trike. So due to the limited area of this type of aircraft, very short aircraft, so it acts only as a pendulum, which has been suspended by the rotors. So CG is under wing. So here we have the CG. So it will not, there is no a probability that the CG will shift away from the desired range due to the limited length of this type of aircraft. So CG is under the wing hang point for level flight. Center of lift is directly above CG, above the wing hang point for level flight. So thrust line is typically designated to be at the vertical CG. So this is the thrust line of the force which pushes the aircraft forward. So this type of aircraft, we call it a trike, and weight and balance is not such an issue for such type of light sport aircraft in general. For example, if the aircraft is flown by a heavy person, the attach point can be moved further aft, bringing the wing forward to compensate for the change in CG. So one time, maybe a heavy person might fly this type of aircraft, and the CG may shift. So you can make some adjustments within while you are flying or while you are operating this type of aircraft. Figure 3 shows a close-up of the wing attach point and small amount of forward and aft movement of this available. So this is wing attachment point. So Trike must control from apex. So by adjusting this lever or this, by making adjustments by using this wing attachment, you can simply make the desired, or you can simply meet the desired CG limit of your trike or weight shift control aircraft. So this is about light sport aircraft. Similar to airplanes, sailplanes and powered parachutes increasing weight increases in speed and descent rate. However, the WSC aircraft has a unique characteristic. Adding weight to this aircraft creates more twist in the wing because the outboard leading edge flex more with less lift at the tips, and nose up effect is created and trim speed lowers. Therefore, adding weight can increase speed similar to the other aircraft, but reduce the trim speed because of the increased twist unique to the weight shift control aircraft. Each manufacturer's make or model has different effect depending on the specific design. For detailed weight and balance information characters and operating limitations, always reference of specific manufacturer manual for this important book again has come. So you should refer what has been provided by the manufacturer, which is the flight manual or the pilot's operating handbook for that specific make model of aircraft. So figure shows an example of a weight and loading sheet that would be issued with a weight. That figure, this figure, as you can see. This can be found in your within your aircraft. So this is airborne XT series, X series aircraft, airborne X series, something about the aircraft, make of the trike or base model, applicable wing models. So date, region, MPT weight, this data will be provided. So based on that, you will make your adjustments on the aircraft only. So it's not about, in this case, it's not about achieving the CG range of the aircraft in this type of aircraft. So you make adjustments and make ready for flight. In the conventional or in the normal type of aircraft weight and balance procedures, you increase or you reduce weights according to what you have calculated, whether your CG range is within the limit or not. So you know your CG limit is within this range, you will be given. So on that type of aircraft, on the normal type of aircraft, you will make adjustments based on your CG location. But in this, it's not. You make adjustments on the airframe, on the aircraft structure. So a powered parachute used for sport and private flying must be registered with an FAA N number, and you should have an airworthiness certificate. So these things, the aircraft must be maintained properly by the aircraft owner or other qualified personnel and have the aircraft logbooks available for inspection. Always, as we have said it many times, you have to refer the pilot's operating handbook and the flight manual for each specific aircraft. For additional information, refer to the Power Parachute Flying Handbook, FAA. This. So if you are interested to know more about powered parachute aircraft, you can refer this Power Parachute Flying Handbook, FAA. This type. There are a series of different books which have been designated FAA H83 something. So for example, in our textbook, the textbooks that we are using is this one. So there are different manuals or documents which are provided by the FAA. So for example, here is, as you can see this book, ይታያል ይሄ screen. It is FAH 808380. So this is Flight Navigator Handbook. And another book is which you have been given as a textbook, Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. So this one is a new share. Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge is also given FAA H8083-25A. Also, you have the textbooks that we are using now. It is called this one, as you can see. So this is weight and balance handbook, and it is given FAA H8083-1B. So there are a series of books which are delivered to the aircraft operators by the FAA, and we should use them accordingly. These are the important textbooks which you should be familiar as professionals working around the aviation environment ላይ የምሰሩ እስከሆናችሁ ድረስ you have to be familiar with these books, about the handbooks. Not only these books, also there are other authorities which are delivering publications to the airlines, to other different industries in the aviation. For example, the IATA is one of these, and it is called International Air Transport Association, and it also gives different documents related to the aviation. So the other is weight and balance competition for amateur built aircraft. A good weight and balance calculation is the keystone of flight testing an amateur built aircraft, accurately determining the aircraft takeoff weight and ensuring the CG is within the aircraft design for each flight is critical to conduct safe flight. The aircraft should be level when weighed, span-wise and fore and aft according with the kit manufacturer's instruction and should be in the level flight operation. It is highly recommended that the aircraft be weighed in an enclosed area. Of course, we have seen this inside the hangar. So in the third chapter, I think we have seen the procedures that we should follow to do the weight and balance. Parachutes, these are related to the previous power parachutes. It's a kind of parachute, but as you can understand from the name, there is some kind of power to the aircraft type. So this is the power parachute. So this is the concept behind the light sports aircraft actually. So we have gone very fast, I think. We have covered many of the topics. So ይሄኛውም ጀምረ ነው ነበር አይደል? ቻፕተር 3 center of gravity change after repair. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, ይሄኛው ጀምረ ነው ነበር እስከተወሰነ. But we have covered many of the topics. And now it's time for you to present your assignment. እንትን ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ እንዴ? እንደዚህ PowerPoint አዘጋጅታችሁ በዚህ በZoom can we make presentation? For example, if you are having a group of 3 በሶስት ግሩፕ ብትመሰርቱና
ሼር ማድረግ አንችልም ከኛ ብሎክድ ነው ወደ እናንተ
ኦኬ አይቻልም
ሼር
ማድረግ ኦኬ ስለዚህ I think this chapter 7 we will see it በተወሰነ አይተነዋል I think ስለዚህ ለዛሬ ማለት ነው will not go beyond this
ልዩነት መፍጠር ዓላማችን ነው ዓለም አቀፍ ተወዳዳሪ መሆን አለባችሁ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ጥራትና ደረጃውን የጠበቀ ስልጠና በመስጠት ብቁ ዜጋ ያፈራን ነው በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን በበረራ መስተንግዶ በቲኬቲንግና ሪዘርቬሽን በሆቴልና ቱሪዝም ሙያዎች አሰልጥነን ተወዳዳሪ እናደርጉታለን ኮሌጃችን ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና ከእንግሊዙ ICM ጋር በመተባበር ዓለም አቀፍ ዕውቅና ያለው ስልጠና እየሰጠ ይገኛል በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን በበረራ መስተንግዶ የምንሰጣቸው ስልጠና ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና አለው አድራሻ ከጎላጉል ታወር 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ህልሞን